We've talked about the dead internet theory before. I hate the dead internet theory. I mean, the dead internet theory, it's real. It's a real thing, but I hate it, right? It makes me sad. And the idea is very simple. The idea is this. We've crossed over a threshold wherein not just the traffic, but the interactions on the internet is increasingly not human, right? It is bots and AI systems and web crawlers and blah, 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 blah. It's not human. And we've crossed a threshold where it's just a majority now is just bots talking at bots. We people are just swept up and along for the ride. That's kind of the dead internet theory core of it. And this week, a case study came up looking at a very specific subset of American culture and how it's using social media. And so I wanted to focus in on it because it showcases how just absolutely horrible the dead internet theory is and how much it is just very much here. It is here. We now have real case studies where we can look at AI content being generated and posted, oftentimes without even being reviewed, to social media accounts, which are then followed by bots, which are then liking and replying and resharing with AI generated comments. Right? So it's AIs liking stuff that AIs posted and then commenting with their own AI and then commenting on other AI. It's crazy. This is the future that we're in, and it's almost impossible to effectively fight it. So we're going to talk about this in the context of the woke right now. Now, a lot of you are instantly rolling your eyes. Let's put the politics aside. This isn't so much about talking about the particular political nuances of what the woke right in the United States is, or even if it's really a thing, or whether you like that term or don't like that term. I'm just using the term because we all know what that means. It is people like, the Nick Fuentes and the people that really don't like Jewish people on social media, right? So we've suspected for a while now that some of these largest accounts that would be classified as woke right seemed a bit inorganic. We've seen several accounts go from, 1,000 followers on X to 1.4 million followers in a 2-day period where there's no significant account activity other than an increase in followers and then no real follower growth thereafter. And we've also seen scenarios where people will post something to X or even to Facebook or other places, and they will get a huge flood of replies that all seem the same. They all seem like it came from the same person. A lot of times the same exact words posted over and over again, seconds apart from each other. And it seems inorganic. It seems like it's AI bots run amok. And a new study came out from the Network Contagion Research Institute over at networkcontagion.us. And the study itself is interesting. I recommend reading it. I want to caution you with this. There's a lot of presuppositions in this particular report, but it does pull together enough information that makes it worth looking at. Specifically, this talks about false flags and fake MAGA, how foreign inauthentic networks use fake speech to destabilize the right from within. Okay, so it's very, very politically charged and all that. But I want to read just a couple of tidbits here because this is interesting. From May 22nd to June 10th of 2025, more than 650,000 English language posts cited false flag narratives related to high-profile attacks, generating nearly 4 million interactions. Activity spiked in lockstep with violent incidents on U.S. soils. Okay, now that in and of itself is not crazy. When something is happening, it seems reasonable that people are responding. But a triad of foreign linked amplifiers, specific accounts, seeded crisis narratives immediately following each event. And then after that is where things really tick off. Bot-like influence loops. Network analysis flagged 24% of participants in false flag narratives as inauthentic, including clusters of bot accounts created on April 26th and October 28th, 2022, suggesting long-term pre-positioning for influence operations. So and there's been a couple of reports along those lines and a few people digging into it here, but there does seem to be an extremely large number of accounts that were all created on set days, right? There's a couple of key days out there. April 26th of 2022 is a big day. There's so many X accounts that were created on that day that seem to just repost or re-say the exact same words as the other accounts created on that day, right? It's very, very peculiar, right? It seems inorganic. Now, do we have proof that it's being run in that case by a bot system? No. No, we don't. It just simply really looks like it, to the point where it would be completely implausible if it were actually humans, because what it would suggest is that there are tens of thousands of humans sitting around waiting and coordinating with each other to say the exact same things, post the exact same emoji, post the exact same animated GIF within seconds of each other, and they all created their account on the same day. The odds of that happening, it's not a real thing, right? So I started looking into this a bit more. I read through that, and I don't like to read an analysis of something that agrees with something that I thought probably was plausible already and just agrees with me and just take it at face value, right? Because I don't want to just feed into my own delusions about what may or may not be real. I need to look into this further, right? Because at first glance, yeah, it does seem like there's a lot of bots, and across the political spectrum, or even just not political at all, there does seem like there's a lot of bot traffic. But I needed to do more digging. So I did some more digging. I did some verification of some of the details in that report, and it does all seem real as far as I could ascertain it. And I found a large number of examples that other people were pointing out that where things just smell wrong and smell like they're bots. And so I want to show you a screenshot here. And my apologies for the particular screenshot, because it's it is of Nick Fuentes, who is on the woke right? So Nick Fuentes is regularly posts things that are pro-Hitler, pro-Nazi, anti-America, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He really doesn't like people like me. And so he posted a post on 5/8/25 that said Team Hitler. Okay. He posts that sort of stuff regularly. It gets his base riled up, or so we think. It might just be getting bots riled up. And then someone responded to them where, she kind of was like, man, you probably, that's not great that someone's saying Team Hitler, we don't like Hitler. Hitler's not cool. There's a lot of good Indiana Jones movies that have pointed out how not cool Hitler was. But where it really got interesting was Nick Fuentes commented on her comment and said the phrase, shut it, and then beep. He called her the B word, right? So one little 3-word phrase, no punctuation at the end, just being a kind of a jerk. Now, this wasn't a top level post on X. It wasn't retweeted by him to everybody. It was just posted as a comment. Within 60 seconds, now this is where things start to get weird, and this is just one example of hundreds of thousands. Within 60 seconds, that particular comment got 189 views. That's not weird. The weird part is, out of 189 views within less than a minute, 169 people clicked the like button. This is a screenshot. I didn't take this screenshot. Someone else posted it. I did not click the like button, but click the like button within 60 seconds, right? And we had all the timestamps to show it. So what are the odds of that actually happening? Well, on X, if you use X, you know that no matter how popular a post is, it's not going to get 90% of all people clicking the like button within 60 seconds of it scrolling halfway onto their screen. The odds of that happening, even one time, are statistically highly improbable. Theoretically possible, but extraordinarily improbable. And the fact that this happens hundreds, thousands of times to the Nick Fuentes accounts and to so many others means that it's far more likely that yesterday I burped and that burp created a new solar system, and then rainbows everywhere exploded and became TRS-80 computers that were born out of burp rainbows. Like, that's far more plausible and far more likely to have happened than this. It is astronomically, grains of sand crazy that this would have actually possibly happened with those numbers. It's inorganic accounts that are causing this to occur. And so I've kind of been thinking about this a bit. And again, this is in the context of studying the woke right, because it's a nice group, right? There's a set number of individuals. They seem to all be using a great amount of these bots. So it's a nice case study. But realistically, we can put the politics of it aside, because this also applies, I think, vastly all across all of social media. But what we've learned really as we've been studying this is a couple of things are happening. Oh, I want to show you one other interesting kind of little thing here. And this is the story of the Hodge twins. The Hodge twins are, again, two guys that are kind of get identified as the woke right. So again, they're in that group. They posted 2 posts within moments of each other, one on X and one on Facebook. In one post on X, they were violently against President Trump and against military action in Iran. That was over on X. Over on Facebook, they were extremely praising Trump and military action in Iran, right? Took completely 180-degree different stances, right? One on X, one on Facebook. And everyone was like, what the heck is going on here? Both of them honestly read like they were ChatGPT generated. So what's going on? So the Hodge twins got called out, and they were between a rock and a hard place. They now had to just tell people why they were taking completely polar opposite views on 2 separate platforms, why they were effectively lying to people and kind of conning and deceiving people about what their viewpoints actually were. So I'm going to read their response here because I think it's very interesting. And pardon the grammar and all that. I'm going to do my best to read it as they wrote it. If y'all didn't already see we getting dragged because of our Facebook accounts post, and there's no punctuation here, there's no periods. We post our personal takes on X and have a social media employee that posts on Facebook because we don't have time, but we weren't checking before they were posted. Some of the posts on Facebook were written with ChatGPT and did not match what we post on X, so we ended up looking like some retards. Smiley face. Okay. So what's interesting about that here is now we have individuals who were suspected of using bot farms and posting AI content actually coming out and admitting, yeah, okay, we actually do use AI content. Not only that, but we don't review it before it gets posted, right? So now we know, at least in some cases, many of the people in this woke right group that we're kind of looking at here, they actually have a business strategy of generating content with ChatGPT and AI systems and posting it without review. And we also know that many of the largest accounts within the woke right sphere purchase a large percentage of their engagement, views, follows, likes, and AI generated comments on their posts from bot farms. And those bot farms you can check out. They're actually pretty cost effective. They're not, I don't know if they're cost effective, but they're not terribly expensive. And people have literally screens filled with like Android emulators where they have, 20, 30 or more Android phone emulators up and running on their screen so that they can emulate a real person funneled through a VPN on an Android client within X, clicking and commenting and whatnot, all using an AI and scripted system. So what we have here, again, is AI generated content posted without review to accounts being followed by bots, I think very heavily by bots, which are then liking and replying with more AI generated comments. Now, again, let's put all those politics aside. Hi, dog. How are you? That's my dog. Put all the political nature. She doesn't like the AI bots either. Putting the political natures aside, right? Because it doesn't really matter the particular politics of these individuals in this particular case. Let's put that aside for a moment. Over time, as social media bot farms continue to grow in sophistication, and as AI systems become increasingly good at mimicking real human creation, which they're already pretty gosh darn good at, these sorts of deceptive practices become increasingly difficult to detect. In fact, realistically, the reason we've been able to detect this so far is that it's been utilized so extensively. So the reason we're looking at the woke right here is because they haven't just used one piece of ChatGPT content here and 10 bots over there to give them a little boost. We're talking about thousands, if not tens of thousands of accounts, sometimes even more, all just posting the same thing over and over again from clearly programmatically driven accounts, and lots and lots. They've done it so extensively that it becomes easy to analyze that data and determine that, yes, this is more likely to be programmatically generated than it is to be real people. But then the question becomes, is how many people are using it to a lesser degree, right? To just give themselves a little bit of a boost, and makes it a little bit harder to detect. The benefit here is that the woke right people overused the bots and overused the AI generated content. And so it made it very easy to detect. But it's still not terribly easy to detect because honestly, it looks like when you go back over the last, say, full year of posts from so many of the largest accounts in that particular political cluster, you start to realize that it's been happening the whole time. And maybe some people suspected it, but it's been less easy to prove. And it's certainly up until now, they haven't come out and said, yeah, we're using AI systems to do all this. And I want to read this little tidbit here from Grums, from Mark Kern, who I've had on the show before. And Mark used to run World of Warcraft back in the early days, back at Blizzard. And he says this, quote, "Botting in MMOs is extremely difficult to combat. It takes a dedicated team that tracks and fights every new method used. When used accounts are hacked or sold to bot farms, it is hard to figure out what a valid account is. I have no doubts that they bot likes here, meaning on X, and even followers. Look at accounts like PC Gamer, etc., who have so many followers, but barely any likes." End quote. And he's right. Massively multiplayer games have been dealing with bots of various kinds for years now, with rules against them and anti-bot and anti-cheating tools to try and make it hard for people to do bot grinding of farming for resources and loot and experience and whatnot in these massively multiplayer games. But it's been an uphill battle for those MMOs because every time they come up with a way to detect a bot or to stop a bot, the people who are creating a bot just get a little more creative and work around it. And we have a similar thing happening right now on social media. We're seeing it on Facebook and X and other places as well. Heck, we're seeing it on YouTube a ton. There's tons of bots throughout YouTube. I took a look at my comments on YouTube the other day on one of my videos, and clearly some of them were obviously bots. And I'd say a good 20 to 30% I would suspect might be bots. Like it's crazy how many bots are around there. And those are comments on my video. When you start to look at, doing searches for similar names and whatnot, and you look at the names and you look at the things that are said, it's just the same phrases repeated over and over again. And I went and looked at some other YouTubers' videos. And it's even worse. I mean, you look at some of the biggest YouTube channels out there, and it just looks like it's just like a flood of bots. And I don't know if that's heavily impacting their views. I don't know if they're involved in getting the bots in. I know I don't pay for any bots. I don't even care about YouTube. But it seems like it's rampant. So I don't know exactly what the root cause of everything is, but it seems like the number of bots out there is just ballooning out of control. And when you look at it on X, there is a monetary incentive to do it because blue checked accounts on X can monetize their traffic, right? So if they get, millions and millions and millions of views across their posts over the course of a 2-week pay period on X, well, you can earn a little bit of money from that. You can earn, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars from that. And so I'm seeing that happen more and more, and it seems like many people are doing it. And the really awful thing is it's hard to combat. It's hard to detect. I don't know possibly how X or any other social media site can possibly really eradicate it. I mean, they can try, and I sure hope to heavens they do. But I don't know how it's entirely possible to fully eradicate it. And it's just going to get worse. So if you hop on X, it's growing increasingly hard to know that unless you know for a fact that person's account is a person, I don't know. You look at, the woke right stuff is a good example because there's just so many bots. But even not in those sorts of accounts, if you're going through and having a conversation with someone who replied to someone else posts on X, it's growing increasingly hard to know if you're chatting with a human or not. And that sucks. That's a really crummy thing. And it's the culmination of all the worst fears of the dead internet theory come to life. And it really, really stinks. I want to thank the Lunduke Journal subscribers for allowing me to make human generated content. This is all artisanal, boutique, man-made content here. Maybe it would be a little bit more smooth if it was AI generated. But this is all man-made here, and thank you to the Lunduke Journal subscribers. Go to lunduke.com. You can subscribe on a variety of platforms, X and Locals and Rumble and Patreon and Substack and YouTube and wherever you want. Wherever you want to get the Lunduke Journal, listen to it, watch it, interact with me. Enjoy it. It's wherever you want it. I do want to point one thing out. If you follow the Lunduke Journal on any of the sites listed at lunduke.com, what you're going to get is the tech news. And yes, sometimes it gets political, but only when it relates to tech, software, open source, big tech, tech foundations, computing, something, right? You're never going to get stuff that's purely political, right? If you follow the Lunduke Journal on X at x.com/Lunduke Journal, you're going to get a fire hose, right? It's not just purely tech. Sometimes you'll get my political ideas. Sometimes you'll get my religious ideas. Sometimes you'll get me talking about movies or something like that. So if you want all of it, make sure to follow me over on X. Everywhere else, you just get the curated tech-focused only stuff, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you don't want all that stuff, you don't want to hear what Lunduke thinks about a particular thing that's happening in the world that doesn't have anything to do with computers, don't follow me on X. You won't be happy about it. But anyway, go to lunduke.com. All the links are up there. You can get it all there. It's fantastic. I really do appreciate all the support that you've given me in making the Lunduke Journal possible for all these years and all the years to come, big tech free and ad free, thanks to you. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nerds and nerdettes across the inner tubes, I do declare, end broadcast.